Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to insert many different pieces of Jedi and Sith lore by director J.J. Abrams that's primarily going to be used as a way in order to benefit many of the main characters like Kylo Ren and Rey in this story. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie really is going to open up the possibilities of the future of the Star Wars franchise, whether it be movies, TV series, comics, books, novels, whatever have you. Episode 9 really is going to serve as a foundation, if you will, to really bring in new elements of the Star Wars franchise as a whole. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this film. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren traveling into a place called the Dark Spire, located on a world in the Outer Rim, that is said to be linked to the origins of the dark side. It's described that Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren eventually come across a tall Vader statue within the shrines of the Sith location that reveal many secrets of Vader's past. One of the sequences is said to involve Kylo Ren opening up the statue that contains many relics, where he eventually comes across many relics that were handed down from Snoke to Vader at one point in time in his life. It's said that Kylo comes across 3 gold rings with black kyber crystals embedded in the gold, where it's said that Vader kept these rings a secret. One of the rings is even said to have a white crystal of some kind, and that these rings are able to make one stronger with the Force, as the rings hold a connection to the beyond. It's implied that one of these rings are the same type of ring that Snoke used in Episodes 7 and 8. It's described that the rings themselves allow one to learn new Force powers as well. However, Vader was not able to use these as his hands were not biological, and so Vader kept them locked away and hid them from Darth Sidious. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Episode 9 really is going to take a lot of advantage on the Jedi and the Sith lore to really make the film feel like it's going to be very rich in material and details just like this. Now, for the longest time, a lot of fans have been wondering, what's up with Snoke's ring? You know, exactly what's so special about it? Well, we do know that the ring that Snoke wears in The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens is actually connected to the Dwarti, and he actually got hold of the crystal, or should I say, the little fragment that he got on Mustafar. Now, that Mustafar piece that he got from there, it tells us a lot about the connection between Snoke and Vader. However, these crystals, or should I say these rings that have crystals on them, that Kylo and the Knights discover within the shrines of the Sith and within Darth Vader's statue, it's hard to say if these rings really are going to be the same exact ones as the one that Snoke wore in The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, since these rings are said to actually be linked to the origins of the dark side as well as the beyond. Now, keep in mind that from what we have gone over, Snoke was actually created from the beyond many years ago, hundreds of years ago. So we do know that Snoke is 800 years old, roughly, and that is going to be explained in Episode 9, and a little bit of Snoke's backstory as well. So this whole entire alliance between Vader and Snoke working in the shadows behind, of course, Darth Sidious, where Sidious did not even know this was happening. It really does make one wonder exactly how they were successful at doing so. Now, what I like about this is that this really is also tapping into Legends material. You guys may recall that in Star Wars Legends, there was indeed a Darth Vader statue. I believe it was within Darth Vader's castle, if I'm not mistaken, on one of the other worlds that back then was not Mustafar. And if we look at Episode 9, we do know that this movie is going to have a lot of EU content that's either going to be pretty much, you know, kind of changed or very close to the way it was in the 1990s into the early 2000s, which is great and a step in the right direction by Disney and Lucasfilm in my book. So the reason as to why I love the connections between all these different characters is that it almost feels like that they are really trying to make the Star Wars universe a little bit more larger, if you will, where a lot of these characters have crossed paths before, a lot of these characters have interacted with each other before in the past, giving a better sense of exactly where they have been. And what I like about that is that this also opens up the possibility of new content in the form of, let's say, books, novels, comics, TV series, and maybe even a spin-off film at some point in time in the future. A lot of people want to learn more and more about Darth Vader and Snoke and what really happened in between the events of Order 66 and Star Wars A New Hope. And like I've always said before in the past, there's a lot to tell in that timeline, as well as the timeline set between the originals and the sequels. So with that being said, I would love to hear what each and every one of you have to say about this alliance between both Snoke and Vader, and the Jedi and Sith lore that is really going to be used as the glue of this movie for both Kylo Ren and Rey to learn more about either the dark side or the light side of the Force and the Force itself in general. Anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.